second chance stories, or what we often refer to as from struggle to triumph stories, all seem to have at least one or two major things in common. Someone has to go through hell and literally hit rock bottom before their rise to a new chapter in life can begin. I guess that's just the price that must be paid. And in that respect, my story and paying my dues isn't that different from many others. You've heard it 1,000 times. I thought for sure that I'd be further ahead at this point in my life. I never would have believed that I'd be starting over. How in the world did I end up here? Well, life has twists and turns that you never could have seen coming. Sometimes the birthplace of the greatest of things appears to be in the lowest and darkest of areas. The kind of place that I just described is where American Memories Continued was born. You never have to tell all of your business. It's best to keep some things private. But whatever you do decide to share, try your best to have the fortitude to tell it straight. I learned to exist in an environment for over 10 years where the police response time was 45 minutes to not at all. This is hard, but I'm not afraid, and it won't be a problem for me to tell this. Because when pride and arrogance have been replaced by true humility, shame and embarrassment will be hard-pressed to find a place of residence in your heart. In an unemployed mind, and having gone for over a year without even a cell phone, now searching for peace, calmness, and inspiration, hoping to find it in something called royalty-free music on the internet, with very little internet service left to work with. By chance, I came across a site with music that not only caught my ear, but captured my heart, and immediately began to release my own creative imagination. There I was, in the hood, in the heart of a Detroit ghetto, thankful to be living in an old broken-down bungalow on a cut-off street, surrounded by abandoned houses just waiting to be torn down, with only about 5 neighbors left on the entire block. By the grace of God, I survived day by day. In the dead of the coldest months of the year, the furnace would break down, sometimes twice or 3 times a winter. This is the same area where bodies were burned and dumped in the empty houses on the next block over. And it became a regular thing to have to chase away people having sex in their cars, often in broad daylight right in front of me. People fighting, shooting, dumping of garbage in the streets, and blatant drug activity. Break-ins, fires, and stripping of houses. With all of this going on, believe me, you get very little sleep. Now, I wasn't raised with a silver spoon in my mouth, but heaven knows I wasn't raised like this. Back when I graduated from high school, I landed a nice job at a small family-oriented print and advertising company. I came on as part-time help, or as a pair of hands, which is what unskilled labor was called. But I ended up being hired in as full-time and stayed about 18 years. Around the same time that the owners decided to close up shop, my father died. Devastated by the loss of her man whom she loved and had planned to spend the rest of her life with, my mother, now all of a sudden a middle-aged widow, would have to find the strength to live on for 3 more decades without him. But that's a story for another time. I now needed a job. After hustles and odd jobs here and there, I tried my hand at cemetery sales and learned quite a bit. From there, I went into the insurance industry and did pretty well until a few more chance encounters led me into a successful career of mortgage banking. Now middle-aged myself, the mortgage market crashed, and seemingly overnight, so did my life. Almost everyone that I knew either went to jail or turned their back on me. I was now living in a war zone. And because of this music that I had found by J. Mann, and these short stories that I began to write, it didn't seem to matter. I had been given more than hope. I now had a new life plan that started to flow in detail with the name of an audio series, story titles, a slogan, the beginnings of a logo design, and most important of all, a cause. The cause wasn't to just get money or to entertain, but to serve the masses with warm, touching memories. Nostalgia that will connect anyone and everyone distanced by life's circumstances wherever they are, back to home, and encourage them, letting them know that they are loved and not forgotten. I've truly learned through all of this not to take anything for granted. And my greatest hope is that I can do my part to pass on the message of true thankfulness and humility to whomever will receive it. The focus is family, seniors, and anyone who has your respect. Those who are disabled, and those who have faithfully served our country. Influenced from my youth by the work of Mr. Rogers, Norman Lear, Carol Burnett, Rankin and Bass, Lucille Ball, Hanna-Barbera, and others who paved the way before me, I now welcome you to share the human experience. This is the story. This is the purpose. This is personal. This is the vision of American Memories Continued.